Hello, good people of Greenfield. I'm Paul Wood, your city manager, and this is the third edition of the City Council meeting summary. This summary is for our most recent City Council meeting held on September 10th, 2024. The purpose of the summaries is to let those individuals that have not had the opportunity to either attend or view the video prior meetings to hear what's going on at your City Council meetings. So getting right into it, 4 out of the 5 City Council members were present on Tuesday night, so we had a quorum and business could continue as usual. The first item is normally public comments, of which there were 3. I will not go into detail on these as neither the city staff nor City Council can comment on them in real time. If you would like to see or hear those comments, you can watch the video that's posted on the city's website or its Facebook page. The next item on the agenda is the City Council comments. Again, those can be viewed or listened to at the city website or on the Facebook page. The next item on the agenda is the consent calendar, which are considered routine and are normally approved in their entirety by one action of the City Council. On this agenda, the City Council approved upwards of $3.5 million in warrants, which is just a fancy name for accounts payable checks. The minutes of the July 23rd, 2024 City Council meeting, and authorized the purchase of a used mower deck from Shide Vineyards in an amount of less than $2,000. This mower deck is used constantly to mow soccer fields and also for Patriot Park open space. Also on the consent calendar were items related to surplusing antiquated equipment, authorizing the disposal of obsolete records, and approving a new supplier of weed abatement services for next spring. The next items on the agenda were the presentations and proclamation sections. Mayor White proclaimed September 2024 as Childhood Cancer Awareness Month, as well as National Alcohol and Drug Addiction Recovery Month. There were also presentations by Police Chief Mixer, the District Attorney's Office, the Monterey County Rape Crisis Center, and the YWCA related to victims of sexual assault and the services that are provided throughout our county. The presentations had many great statistics and seemed to be well received. The City of Greenfield's Community Outreach Department also gave an update report on banners honoring veterans. In that report, it was stated that the American Legion would be leading the efforts to establish a banner program in which banners of veterans would fly on pertinent holidays on El Camino Real in Greenfield. The next 2 items on the agenda were 2 public hearings. The first was approving a 1-year extension for the Miramonte vesting tentative map. As you may recall, the Miramonte property is a large property within the boundaries of the city that had a vesting tentative map approved 2 years ago. The owners have been diligently trying to secure a developer, but because of a number of issues, it's been unsuccessful. This item was a public hearing in order to grant a 1-year extension of that tentative map. The Miramonte subdivision is a 28-acre project site located at the northeast corner of Apple Avenue and 13th Street. It is zoned for single-family residential. The City Council approved this extension. The second public hearing related to a request for the City Council to approve a joint exercise of powers agreement and cooperation agreement with Monterey County and the cities of Gonzales, Marina, and Sand City to undertake or to assist in the undertaking of essential activities pursuant to Title I of the Housing and Community Development Act of 1974. This is for a 2-year term through June 30th of 2027. In general, what we're intending to do here is to set up a JPA, or a Joint Powers Authority, in order for the county and the named cities, including Greenfield, to more economically receive grants that are received from HUD and the Community Development Block Grant Program, CDBG, annually on a non-competitive basis, and have those grants managed in one place for all of these entities. If this wasn't done, all of the individual cities named would have to do all of the paperwork individually, and for the amount of money that we do receive, and all of the other activities that were going on in the city would be difficult to carry out with current staff levels. By having the County of Monterey administering these programs for us and receiving a fee from all of us, it makes the receipt of these funds more economical. The City Council approved these agreements through June 30th of 2027. The next item on the agenda, and the first of the regular agenda items, was a discussion and potential approval of a recreational vehicle, boats, and trailer parking pilot program. The point of this agenda item is specifically related to parking problems that Greenfield and many of the cities in the Salinas Valley have, especially during the summer months. There just isn't enough parking available for the residents in each of these towns. The city attorney presented a pilot program of parking wherein owners of recreational vehicles, RVs, boats, and trailers within a defined pilot program area would be able to park these vehicles in their own driveways to assist in alleviating the parking on the street. These vehicles, under current rules, cannot park in driveways. The program will temporarily remove that prohibition and allow RVs, boats, and trailers to park in front yard driveways, even if that means the RV, boat, or trailer will be parked within the front yard setback, as long as the RV, boat, or trailer does not encroach upon the sidewalk or the city right-of-way. The police department will be responsible for implementing the program. Implementation will include educating the owners of those RVs, boats, and trailers currently parked on the city streets that they may park these vehicles in their driveway. The police department will also track the effectiveness of the program and will report back to the City Council at the first City Council meeting in January 2025. There was much discussion amongst themselves as well as with city staff related to how this potential pilot would impact the current issues related to the 72-hour parking rule and how people might be circumventing it. And when I say circumventing it, I mean when people, quote, unquote, move their cars, they're only moving them a few inches or feet, effectively not moving them at all. The city attorney clarified this by stating that her interpretation of the 72-hour rule implies that the move needed to be to another street. The current city staff interpretation was not this, but city staff did agree to follow this standard. Councilmember Tipton amended the pilot program to start by October 1st. City staff agreed also that they would amend their interpretation to include the moving of every vehicle, not just of the type that we're talking about, to be off of the street after 72 hours. So the pilot program in the pilot area, which has not yet been identified, will go into place October 1st and probably run through the end of the year, with the report coming out the first meeting in January 2025. The next item on the agenda was a resolution to reject all of the bids for our 2024 pavement maintenance project, year 3, and to direct staff to make minor modifications to the project and re-advertise the bid. This item relates to the city's triennial street and pavement maintenance program, of which 2024 is the 3rd year. When we went out to bid for the improvements we planned on implementing in 2024, all of the bids were much more than we could afford. And since our normal bid procedures tell us that we are obliged to accept the lowest bid, city staff is coming to council to ask them to override our procedural obligation so that we can change the requirements of the project, make them smaller, to hopefully get a bid that will work within our budget. It is important to point out that the closest bid that we received was about $400,000 more than our budget. The City Council approved rejecting the bids and modifying the project. So city staff will go back, rework our proposal, and go out to bid again. The next and last item on the city's agenda was a proposed resolution to transfer appropriations for capital improvements budgeted for the fire department improvements from fiscal year 23-24 to fiscal year 24-25, the current year, in the amount of approximately $340,000. Back in March of this year, the City Council approved a supplemental appropriation in excess of $475,000 to address issues at the fire station, namely firehouse modifications, a portion of seismic retrofit design fees, and our 10% match for the permanent fire station generator that's being paid for via grant. This amendment was required because the appropriation had been approved in the prior year, fiscal year 22-23, but that year is now over and the appropriation expired with it. Usually the reappropriating of these funds happens during the budget process leading up to the new fiscal year. But because the city staff implemented a new budgeting protocol and software system, many of these reappropriations were not included in the budget. This was an error on city staff's account, and this isn't the only incident. Others will come in the next 2 city council meetings. The good news is that these are not new appropriations, which would mean that we're spending more money. They are reappropriations, which would imply that we are saving the money, that we actually saved the money last year, and are now getting council's approval to spend it in the current year. It's not costing us anymore, it's just a timing change. The city council approved this resolution. Well, that's about it. Wraps it up. Hope you enjoyed and got something out of this video. Please, if you have any questions or want to know anything more, leave a comment on this video or send me an email shown on the screen. Thanks very much, and if you'd like to give it a thumbs up, please do, and I will continue with them. Take care.